Coronation Street features a dramatic turning point tonight as Will Driscoll shares an important discussion with Tim Metcalf after secretly preparing to run away to France with Megan Walsh. In the previous episode, Will departed Weatherfield after agreeing to stay with his mother in Scotland. However, without his relatives knowing, he had organized an escape abroad with Megan after taking £2,000 from his father's safe. During a chat, Ben admitted to Steve that he was struggling with the idea of taking his son to the station, leading Steve to recommend Tim for the journey instead. Following an emotional farewell, Will climbed into Tim's taxi and traveled toward the train station, with viewers later discovering he actually intended to continue on to the airport. Tonight's episode begins inside the cab, where Tim receives an alert revealing the Glasgow train has been cancelled. When Will still pushes to go to the station, Tim starts to suspect something is wrong. Meanwhile, Ollie notices the same cancellation and attempts to contact him. After Ben discovers that Will's passport has disappeared, he becomes alarmed and asks Steve to warn Tim, telling him not to leave Will alone. While driving, Tim opens up to Will about his past relationship with Trisha, explaining that although he once enjoyed it, he now understands he was manipulated and abused. "She used me," Tim explains, "no matter if I realized it then or even enjoyed it, and I did enjoy it. What teenage boy wouldn't?" When Will insists that he and Megan are in love, Tim notices uncertainty in him and decides to take him to the police station, encouraging him to admit everything. "I'm not worried about Megan," Tim tells him. "I'm worried about you. Your dad and Eva care too. You just need to tell the truth." Tim admits he never had the courage to speak openly about what happened to him, explaining that Will's family have suffered deeply because of the situation. Tim then watches as a frightened Will walks into the station, where he is stunned to see Ben, Eva, Maggie, and Ollie waiting for him. Later this week, Tim begins facing the trauma from his own past as he finally stands up to Trisha Marlowe, recognizing that he too had been groomed by an older woman during his teenage years. James Cartwright has secured another major acting job only weeks after departing Coronation Street, and it appears he'll continue playing villainous characters for the foreseeable future. The actor, who recently exited the ITV soap after portraying manipulative Theo Silverton, is now heading from Weatherfield to the theater stage this festive season with a brand new pantomime role. James will take on the famous villain Abanazar in this year's production of Aladdin at Bournemouth's Pavilion Theatre. After spending more than a year stirring up trouble on the cobbles, the role seems perfectly suited to him. Discussing the new opportunity, James admitted he's delighted to be spending Christmas in Bournemouth. He said, "I'm really excited to join the production. Bournemouth is an amazing place, and being here during Christmas while performing for families and visitors makes it even more special. Pantomime has such a fantastic history, and I'm looking forward to stepping into that environment." The announcement arrived shortly after Theo's shocking departure from the soap, which surprised many Corrie viewers. In the dramatic storyline, Theo was killed after his abusive treatment of husband Todd Grimshaw eventually led to deadly consequences. The character was discovered dead after seemingly falling from scaffolding outside his apartment, although the person responsible has still not been revealed. During his time on the program, Theo became one of Coronation Street's most notorious villains, with audiences watching him manipulate and intimidate those around him. Although Theo was widely hated, James gained strong praise from fans, with many complimenting his acting and admitting they were disappointed to see him leave. Before joining the ITV serial drama, James had already established a successful career in television and stage productions, and he recently shared that he was eager to return to theater work following his Corrie exit. Producer Martin Dodd described James as the ideal choice for the role of Abanazar, praising his commanding performances and strong screen presence. He explained, "Many viewers know James as the dangerous Theo Silverton from Coronation Street, and he brings great energy and authority to every performance, making him the perfect larger-than-life villain. While James is concentrating on his new project, viewers are still discussing Theo's explosive departure from the soap. Earlier this year, it was revealed that the actor had joined Coronation Street on a fixed-term deal, meaning Theo's exit had always been part of the storyline plan. A Corrie representative previously stated, James joined the show on a limited contract and understood his character's full story arc and the planned length of his stay. Now, with a leading pantomime role confirmed for Christmas, James is showing that his career continues to thrive beyond the cobbles. Coronation Street viewers believe they have already figured out where Daniel Osborne and Jodie Ramsey's relationship is heading, with many convinced the pair won't remain just friends for long. Jodie's latest behavior has continued to confuse fans after she arrived in Weatherfield earlier this year and was revealed as Shona Platt's long-lost sister. During Monday's episode of the ITV soap, Jodie secretly listened from the stairs as David Platt told Shona he thought it was time for her to move out. Angry over the suggestion, Jodie attempted to turn Shona against David by hinting there was more to their awkward bedroom incident than he had admitted. Later, Jodie headed to the bistro for a drink, where she overheard someone mention that Daniel had gone away to the Lake District. Soon afterwards, she appeared outside No. 1 Coronation Street, the home of Ken Barlow, where she discovered a spare key hidden beneath a plant pot and quietly let herself inside. Jodie quickly settled in by sitting in Ken's chair, reading his newspaper and attempting his crossword puzzle. However, she panicked when Ken unexpectedly returned home with his granddaughter, Amy Barlow, forcing her to hide before being spotted. Before leaving, Jodie secretly took a spare key belonging to Daniel's flat, and in Wednesday's episode, she confidently used it to enter the apartment. But her plan did not go smoothly, as Daniel was unexpectedly still there, leaving both of them shocked by the encounter. Although Daniel first demanded that she leave after realizing she had stolen the key from Ken, Jodie eventually persuaded him to let her stay. Daniel later confided in Jodie about the trauma he experienced involving Megan Walsh, who was recently exposed for grooming teenager Will Driscoll. Jodie also shared her own side of events, insisting that David had made advances towards her before lying to Shona by claiming he had mistaken Jodie for his wife, something viewers know actually happened. When Jodie later prepared to leave and book herself into a hotel, Daniel appeared to warm towards her and offered her a place to stay for the night, admitting he appreciated the company. The scenes immediately sparked discussion among Coronation Street fans online, with many now convinced that Daniel and Jodie's connection will soon develop into something more than friendship between two lonely people. Coronation Street is broadcast on ITV1 every weeknight at 8:30 p.m., with episodes also available to stream on ITVX.